Welcome to AI News Digest 2026-06-27. Today's 5 stories. Story 1. OpenAI's new AI was so powerful it had to brief the US government before release. Story 2. An AI model that thinks like we do offers new ways to peer inside the black box. Story 3. Murakkab, MIT's new system for optimizing multi-step AI workflows. Story 4. Big tech is spending trillions on AI. Investors now want proof it will pay off. Story 5. Gemini language model, recent releases and updates. Story 1. OpenAI's new AI was so powerful, it had to brief the US government before release. Big tech is betting trillions on artificial intelligence, and Wall Street is starting to sweat. This week, the Nasdaq composite fell nearly 5% as investors grappled with a fundamental question. Will the enormous sums being poured into AI infrastructure ever actually pay off? According to Goldman Sachs, tech companies are projected to spend $7.6 trillion through 2031 building the data centers and computing power needed to run AI at scale. That is not a typo, $7.6 trillion. And increasingly, the companies making those bets are borrowing money to do it. Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and Oracle, the so-called hyperscalers, are turning to debt markets to finance their AI build-out. That is a significant red flag for analysts, because it means the financial risk is compounding even as the revenue justification remains unclear. Kate Brennan, Associate Director of the AI Now Institute, put it bluntly to CBS News. The returns are not coming in, and the efficiency and productivity numbers being claimed by AI firms are simply not adding up in practice. A May study from Gartner reinforced that concern, finding that businesses which replace human workers with AI agents often fail to generate a return on their investment. So the enterprise case is shakier than the headlines suggest. On the consumer side, the picture is equally complicated. Americans are using AI more than ever, but very few are choosing to pay for it. Much of that usage is passive. AI-generated responses at the top of Google search, AI voice agents on customer service lines. Brennan argues this is not organic demand. It is supply-side push, AI firms deploying the technology everywhere because their financial models require it, not because users are asking for it. Meanwhile, public trust is eroding. A Pew Research poll found that 40% of American adults believe AI will be a negative force in society over the next 2 decades. Only 16% see it as a positive. That is a stunning gap in social license for a technology being positioned as the defining economic force of our era. The comparisons to the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s are becoming harder to dismiss. Like then, enormous capital is flowing into a transformative technology whose long-term value is real, but whose near-term monetization path is murky. The question for investors, policymakers, and the public alike is whether the AI industry can demonstrate genuine, paying demand before the debt comes due. Story 2. An AI model that thinks like we do offers new ways to peer inside the black box. Google's Gemini is one of the most consequential artificial intelligence systems in the world today, and its story is worth understanding in full. Announced at Google I/O in May 2023 and officially released in December of that year, Gemini was Google's direct answer to the explosive rise of ChatGPT and OpenAI's GPT-4. But rather than simply building a text-based chatbot, Google made a more ambitious architectural bet. Gemini was designed from the ground up to be multimodal. That means it can process and reason across text, images, audio, video, and computer code, all at once, not as separate add-on features bolted together after the fact. That distinction matters enormously for real-world applications. The development of Gemini involved a historic reorganization inside Google. 2 of the world's most prestigious AI research organizations, Google Brain and DeepMind, were merged into a single entity called Google DeepMind, specifically to build Gemini. DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis, the architect of AlphaGo, the system that famously defeated the World Go champion in 2016, said publicly that Gemini would combine AlphaGo's strategic reasoning capabilities with the conversational fluency of modern large language models. Google co-founder Sergey Brin even came out of retirement to contribute, and he was later credited as a core contributor to the project. On the training side, Gemini was trained in part on transcripts of YouTube videos, giving it access to one of the richest and most diverse repositories of human knowledge and communication on the planet. That raises legitimate questions about copyright and consent that the AI industry has not yet fully resolved. By May 2026, Gemini has reached its third major generation, with 4 distinct model variants. Gemini 3.1 Pro for high-capability tasks, Gemini 3 Deep Think for complex reasoning, and Gemini 3.5 Flash and 3.1 Flashlight for faster, more cost-efficient applications. This tiered portfolio mirrors the strategy of OpenAI and Anthropic, and signals that Google is competing aggressively across every segment of the AI market, from enterprise software to everyday consumer tools. Gemini is now a central pillar of Google's entire product strategy, powering its chatbot, its search experience, and its cloud offerings. Whether it can ultimately displace OpenAI as the dominant AI platform remains the defining competitive question of the next several years. Story 3, Murakkab, MIT's new system for optimizing multi-step AI workflows. MIT News has briefly flagged a new system called Murakkab, described as a framework designed to optimize multi-step AI workflows. The name itself is telling. Murakkab is Arabic for compound or complex, and that conceptual framing fits neatly with the problem it appears to be addressing. In the world of modern AI, getting a single model to answer a question is the easy part. The hard part is getting AI systems to plan and execute across multiple steps, especially when each step depends on the output of the last, and errors can cascade unpredictably. This is exactly the challenge that agentic AI systems face. Whether it's an AI assistant that needs to search the web, interpret results, write code, debug that code, and then summarize findings, or a scientific AI pipeline that must collect data, run analysis, and generate a report, multi-step workflows are where current AI systems frequently break down. A dedicated optimization framework for these pipelines could be genuinely valuable, potentially reducing latency, improving accuracy, and making complex AI applications far more reliable in production environments. Unfortunately, the available article excerpt gives us very little to work with beyond the name and the general description. We don't have benchmark results, we don't know who led the research, and we don't know whether Murakkab has been published in a peer-reviewed venue or is still in early development. That limits how much we can say with confidence about its true impact. What we do know is that this reference appeared alongside another notable piece of news. Economist David Autor has been named head of MIT's Department of Economics. Autor has spent decades studying how automation and AI reshape labor markets, and his elevation to departmental leadership at this particular moment in history is significant. As AI continues to disrupt industries, having one of the world's foremost economists on labor and technology in an institutional leadership role at MIT positions the university to engage seriously with those consequences. Together, these two items from MIT News paint a picture of an institution deeply embedded in both the technical and economic dimensions of the AI era. Story 4, Big Tech is spending trillions on AI. Investors now want proof it will pay off. Major hyperscalers including Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and Oracle are increasingly turning to debt markets to finance massive AI infrastructure build-outs, raising concerns among investors about return on investment. Analysts are questioning whether current AI capital expenditure is sustainable and whether consumer and business demand will justify the spending. The article reflects a broader market reevaluation of AI investment theses. Story 5, Gemini Language Model, Recent Releases and Updates. Google's Gemini model family has seen rapid iteration, with Gemini 2 Pro released in early February 2025 and Gemini 2 Flash Thinking Experimental, a model that exposes a summary of its reasoning chain, also launched. The Wikipedia article serves as a useful reference for tracking the Gemini model lineage and benchmark comparisons. These releases are part of Google's competitive push against OpenAI and other frontier model providers.